have started the episode.
Just talking about NAs.
NAs. So on the Mojo show with me and Maurice, we always drink the NAs. We do a beer of the week, and I think this entire year we've just done NAs.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you tried this one, I think, at Bose.
At Bose, right.
And then I was like, oh, I didn't know they made one, so I got to go get one. And I tried it. It's okay. I'm not into the Belgian, the whites. You try this one, though. This is Asahi.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Here, you try this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is typical behavior for me and you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Whoops. I tell all my friends at work, I'm like, if we're going to beat a dead horse, count me in. Because it's one of my favorite things ever. Right. And always has been, but particularly with like our group. You know, like Mike, it's like, so. It's
funny how you have different humor with different friends.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like me, you, and Mike, it's like the beating the dead horse is the joke. But then I have different humor with different friends. It might be more goofy or it might be more like dark humor.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's different depending on your group.
Right. I'm trying to think. So with Mikey and Chris, it's a lot of like self-deprecating humor with like little bursts of just like miscommunication.
Yeah.
And it's completely different because they don't like beating a dead horse.
Right.
That was solely just me just not knowing my audience.
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh, man. All right. So I would be remiss if I didn't start this off with, you and I have known each other for 31 years.
That is correct.
I've known you the longest of all my friends.
You are my longest friend.
Yeah. No, you don't want to say oldest.
I don't want to say oldest yet.
It'll make me feel bad. Yeah. And this whole podcast is based off of entertainment, like then and now when we were kids and growing up and now. So it could be anything. It could be your video games, if you were into that, board games, as we just talked about. But I would be remiss if I did not start this off with the movie that bonded me, you, and my sister John. Shout out, John.
Right. Yeah.
The Lion King.
The Lion King.
The Lion King.
Yeah. When I was a kid, you probably remember, loved animals. That was like
you already know what I thought of right there.
Yeah, I was going to say it. I guess skipping ahead a little bit, if we're going to start with like kids stuff, whatever. Mm-hmm. We used to play football at the native fields.
Dude, it's so funny.
Can I use last names on here or like?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, why not?
All right, so we're playing football at the Natick Fields in West Warwick, and
shout out West Warwick.
Yeah, and I was very one-tracked mind. Like I just liked dogs and animals. And we're sitting there as my only conversation topic, and we're playing football, and people are kind of like, all right, it's just Pete, whatever. And one of us scored a goal. I forgot who or when. And there was this giant pile of dog shit just like right by the fence. And Anthony Caswell looks at it and looks at me and goes, Pete, what kind of dog did that? And like we just like all lost it.
Dude, I don't remember like the story live, but when you retold it, dude, I still think that's so funny because of like I can just picture him saying it.
Yeah, it was like so on brand for him, and it was so good. And like it's still I think
it still resonates because it's so funny.
Just think about it time to time.
Oh my god! So then there was your love for animals brought you to The Lion King.
Correct. I'm trying to think. That came out in like 94. So,
I think so.
Yeah. So that's around the time I moved into Oakland Drive. Really, banger of a movie. I felt like, everyone's character arc, it still holds up to this day. And then, but I remember, you liked that movie.
I did.
And we countlessly would play that in your front yard because you had like
the ledge
that we could, play the very final scene, that slow motion fight scene.
Right. And then we used to do like the Scar and Mufasa when he was on the ledge and
one of us would hang off of
the king
and throw the other person off that stone ledge out there.
And I remember when we had some sort of cookout at my house. And we were all playing tag or something, running around, and you stopped at the back door. I like distinctly remember this because Elton John, "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" was on. You stopped to sing the song.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I knew the words.
The soundtrack there was phenomenal too.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the movie; it was the soundtrack.
Yeah, no, everything. I think, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I could watch that now and still be like, yeah, that's pretty solid movie.
Yeah. So. Now, did you get into any other? Were you big into the Disney movies back then, like the Beauty and the Beast and all that jazz?
Yeah, I think Beauty and the Beast was up there. That one. I don't think like Gaston was like that crazy of a bad guy. He was just like
he was pompous.
He was like a pompous ass, you know. But like as far as like a villain, you know, he was kind of comical in a way. I don't know. He was like at least now, like with the meme generation, there's like a lot, you know, from there. But yeah, I liked that one. I'm trying to think. I think Aladdin was kind of like was up there though for me.
Yeah,
if I had to pick like of those ones, like
Aladdin was great.
Yeah, that one.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I already got the burps. He's NAs, dude.
Oh, I can't wait.
The burps still come. As far as did you watch the Disney Channel growing up?
Yes.
Like shows and whatnot?
Yeah, all right. So if we're still sticking around that same time, Gargoyles was...
Wow. Nobody has said that yet.
Anybody remembered Gargoyles?
Yeah, nobody has said that yet.
Yeah. So I tried watching it a couple years ago just to make sure and see if it was still killer. And it was. I mean, obviously now it's kind of predictable. Like there's going to be a fight scene every episode.
Right.
It's kind of like one track. It's for like, 8-year-olds. But like, it was good. And I never made it past ever like season 2. I have no idea what happens for the rest of this. It's a mystery to me. I was going to sit down and watch the whole thing in entirety, and then just kind of said, it's kind of the same thing every episode.
What did that air on?
That was, like now?
Like, when back then, like, what channel was, because I remember watching it, but I don't remember what it was on.
Disney, I mean, back when we were kids, I think Disney, no, it was Disney, and it was channel 34.
It was 34. Sure. Yeah, 35 was Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
So. What about the Nickelodeon shows?
Yeah, so when I got older, Rugrats was like that.
When I got older, when I was 15, I really got into
Okay. Older as in I was 6 years old versus 4.
Yeah.
I liked Chucky. He was a little scaredy cat.
Yeah.
I could kind of resonate with that back then.
Yeah.
But like Rugrats was cool. I watched episode 1 of this, and they mentioned Hey Arnold. And that one, they have some pretty good clips now. That you can still take into adulthood, which are pretty... Yeah. And I agree with that statement entirely.
I loved Hey Arnold.
Oh, speaking of, though, I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 days ago was the anniversary of Stoop Kid leaving his stoop.
Oh, really?
Officially, yeah. He officially left it.
Stoop Kid's afraid to leave his stoop. I'm spreading the word.
It is. And then he literally, his first steps, he just, proceeds to run and beat Harold's ass.
He had it coming.
Yeah.
He absolutely had it coming.
Yeah, 100%.
I loved Hey Arnold because I think it used to be Hey Arnold, and then this is around like middle school. I'd watch Hey Arnold every day, and then it would bring me right into TRL, Total Request Live on MTV.
Okay.
It was like a staple for me.
Yeah, I've never seen that. So,
really?
Yeah, no idea.
All right, so were you not heavily into music at like back then or now?
Okay, as a kid, no. I didn't really like know how to find it. It was really just like whatever my parents were playing. So like my dad was listening to, I don't know, whatever he listened to in the 80s, like that stuff was on.
I remember ABBA was like a...
Yeah. So ABBA. We also had like, Dean, Frank, and Louie were a big thing in the house. My mom had a very like eclectic taste of music. Like, have you ever heard of Squirrel Nut Zippers?
No.
It's such a weird, dude. It's weird shit. Like,
really?
Yeah, they're fun, but it's like I would have never listened to it if she hadn't had it playing in the house. But I guess the differences between then and now was I was very I was brought up Christian, so like I listened to like a lot of DC Talk, and stuff like that. So like all this stuff from like the early 2000s when we were in like middle school.
Right.
I didn't listen to it, not because I wasn't allowed to. It was just, it wasn't an interest.
Right.
Now I think it's like awesome, a lot of that stuff. Fall Out Boy and stuff like that. Like,
yeah. Well, like soundtracks for movies anyway, like Elton John with Lion King.
I haven't added that on Spotify yet, but
dude,
now that you remind me,
it's one of those like feel good songs, or there's a couple of them that he has on there. But like when I listen to them, it just brings me back, and it's just like it's like a calming kind of thing.
Right.
Those songs.
Yeah. No, he I listened a couple years ago to like This Is Elton John on Spotify, and like I didn't realize he had so many other great songs outside of the Lion King soundtrack.
I thought he was just the Lion King guy.
Yeah.
Before I jump around too much, you had notes.
Oh.
I don't want to miss anything.
No,
that you may have big topics from your childhood.
No, so the only reason why I did the notes was Hannibal had like notes on the Joe Rogan podcast like years ago.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of like at the time I thought that was like clever.
Yeah.
He's like, just in case we like
don't
know where to go.
Well,
like,
yeah. Well, because you know the premise of the show, so it's if you have things that I don't necessarily touch on,
right?
I'm
trying to think. So far, as far as like as a kid, we touched on the animals and Hey Arnold. Okay.
See?
Yeah, no, you're right. Okay, so there's some three banger. If it's a then and now, this is
all right.
Still a now.
Let's hear it.
All right, the first one's Karate Kid.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Okay.
The OG. I mean, did you like all of them?
No, I like the OG one.
OG
for sure.
Yeah.
That one. For those that obviously I don't know, growing up, I went to State of the Arts Karate Center, on Route 2.
Yes.
And I did that. I was never into like conventional sports, growing up, like all the school sports.
Right.
I really liked karate.
Mm-hmm.
And Karate Kid, my dad was like, hey, you should watch this. And I was like 8.
Yeah.
And it had like everything I wanted in a movie for the time. And then like it's still like really good,
mm-hmm.
like speaking of soundtracks and stuff. But apparently what they did was they hired like actual like karate black belts to come on the movie and like teach them and like, how to spar.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of authentic. It's not like
legit.
Yeah, like crazy Jackie Chan style,
right.
moves. It's like actual like point sparring.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the now would be Cobra Kai is the spinoff. Which have you watched?
I watched. I think like the first like 2 or 3 seasons when I was in quarantine.
Yeah.
And then I just haven't picked it up. Not because I didn't like it or anything. It was just I haven't remembered to.
I want to say that if you watch 3, I think there's one other full season, and then 5 is they did 5 episodes. Now they just did another 5, and then the last 5 is next year.
Really?
And that's it.
Okay.
So
what season was the one? Spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen
spoiler
it.
alert on Cobra Kai.
The one where the kid falls off the banister in the school.
Like
all the kids just randomly fighting each other for no reason. That was, like they hate each other. Like
that was one of my favorite scenes because what I enjoy about the show is it's very just like ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like classic 80s sitcom.
It's like all these kids pick up karate like that, and they're having wars in the school. Miguel falls. And yeah, I want to say that may have been 2 or 3.
You're right. That was the last episode I saw, so I don't know what happens after.
All right, pick it back up.
Okay.
Trust me, it's worth it. So other than the Karate Kid, did you get into any other like martial art movie? I know back then there probably wasn't a lot. We had Rocky, obviously.
Actually, I never really got into Rocky. Yeah, I know. Everyone's like, dude, you're Italian, you like fighting. I'm like, yeah, but it's never really.
Have you watched any of them, though?
I watched the first one, I think, in like high school. Because my friend Ed, like, made me. He's like, you had to be forced to watch it. Yeah, 100%. He came over. I invited him over. And he's like, okay, we're watching Rocky. Like, there's no. It was just like, okay, being held hostage in your own house. Like
you come to my house and pick what we're doing.
Right, exactly. But I mean, it was good. Like I didn't dislike it. It's just it didn't have that same like punch, pun intended, I guess, as like Karate Kid did.
I will say the fight scenes they're not great. They're usually the worst part of the movie is the actual fights themselves, and all the Rockies, the Creeds. But I mean, the first 4 Rockies, like you can't go wrong.
Okay,
they're so good.
I mean, I live really close. If you didn't know,
yeah.
So I can always come over and then just check it out.
You have my information, and
your people will call my people,
and I have the DVDs. I think most of actually I do. But have you seen the Creeds?
I saw the first one.
Did you like it? I mean, it was
good. Yeah, it was more modern. I watched that with a friend when it like first came out, but that was the last one or like the last time.
Oh man, so
I thought of it.
You'd have to probably watch at least Rocky 4 before you watch Creed 2 because there's a tie-in.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Let's do a Rocky marathon.
No, let's do. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Because you're into martial arts, I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but there's been other movies that have come out. I'm trying to think of the Tom Hardy one.
That one was good. I saw that in theaters. Yeah, I forgot what it was entirely about. It was like, was it two brothers that were fighting?
It was two brothers. I can't think of the name of it.
Yeah. It's not The Fighter. That one. Okay, for boxing movies, the one with Christian Bale, that one was...
with Mark Wahlberg,
yeah, Mark Wahlberg, yeah.
Yeah, that one was really good.
Yeah, that was
really good.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I forgot the name of that one. It was like Cage something. I have no idea.
Warrior?
Yes. Okay, Warrior.
Yeah, I'll be honest, because it had a lot of hype. I didn't watch it when it first came out. It had a lot of hype. I watched it.
Yeah.
I thought Here Comes the Boom was better. Did you watch that one?
I did not, no.
With Kevin James?
I know. I like Kevin James. I didn't see that movie, though. No.
You'd probably enjoy it because you're into the UFC, and it's not heavy in mixed martial arts, really, as far as like the fight scenes, but it's a funny movie, though.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I saw him live over in... There was some tent in Cape Cod like years ago.
Really?
Yeah. So like growing up, I was really into. I still am like stand-up comedy. Sociology hasn't ruined that really for me yet.
Because it's compartmentalizing,
right?
You know, the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, but yeah, I mean, Kevin James we saw live that same weekend. We saw Lewis Black. Trying to think. Jerry Stiller was at Kevin James's show. So
really?
I got to meet him. I was like 10. I was like,
I
just said hi, and I was like, shake. Yeah, it's crazy. We saw it over in Newport. We had like Jim Gaffigan, Bill Burr, Louis C.K., Brian Regan. It was like a lot of
Was
bangers.
it like one of the festivals or
no,
separate
it was
shows?
Just separate shows. We went maybe like once or twice this summer for like years.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, we saw a lot of people.
Kevin James's first one, that Sweat the Small Stuff, is still funny.
Really?
And if you haven't watched it, if anybody hasn't watched it, it's so funny to me.
Okay. I remember seeing a lot of his older stuff. You said your first one.
I think that was his first stand-up that I remember. He just did another special like recently, this year or last year. But his first one I remember was called Sweat the Small Stuff, and it was just funny because it's like observational humor of stupid things, like when you're at the drive-thru and your money falls in the seat and you get somebody behind you beeping and you're trying to get it, and so it's just like that kind of stuff, which is like that's what would aggravate me in real life.
Oh, 100%. Those little mild inconveniences that just like you hang on to it all day.
Yeah.
No, he's good. I'll have to rewatch that. I think one of the funniest stand-up thing like I've ever heard to this day. I mean, I don't laugh the same way, but like that first time hearing it was the Louis C.K. hilarious show. And he's talking about what the word hilarious means in the context. And like, I'm not going to ruin it for anyone that hasn't seen it, but I like at the time I was married, we're coming back from like a road trip and she was sleeping and woke up and I was like crying. Like she's like, do you need me to drive? Cause like I couldn't see cause I was like fucking crying. Yeah. It was nuts. But I like his delivery. Yeah. I like how he's self-deprecating. Yeah. He definitely teeters on that line of just kind of like, how's this gonna go?
Right.
But then he doesn't punch down. He'll punch right back at himself or punch up. So I kind of like that.
You actually, you got me into Lewis Black back in the day. That was the first time I heard him, and actually Brian Regan, because I think Regan had a joke. I think it was Regan that had a joke about the Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
Was it like microwave it for 3 seconds or something like that?
Yeah, it had to do with being late for work. He's just like, really? Like, you can't wait long enough for a toaster. Yeah, he's good. He does a whole skit on like, being really bad at science in school. Going to like the science project. He says like a cup of dirt. He's just like, hey, what is it? Explain it. He goes, it's a cup of dirt. Like, he was good. He
has the facial expressions too that are just so funny.
Yeah.
I remember getting into, because there was other people, like remember the Streeters they were really into stand-up. So when I go over there, I'd watch stand-up to Robin Williams live on Broadway.
Oh, cool. That was a good one.
That was a really good one.
Yeah, he was great. He was. I didn't watch a lot of his stuff because it was more like contemporary guys I was listening to. But like Yeah, I remember watching my friend Ben. That's kind of like where we bond is like stand up comedy.
Right.
And he used to show me like you know like him or Eddie Murphy or just like some of the other guys I really wouldn't have gotten into if it wasn't for him. You know. So,
yeah, I actually think I watched Raw, Eddie Murphy's Raw at the Streeter's house. We used to watch.
Is that the one where he's wearing the suit?
The red one.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There was. What the heck was the other one called though?
Oh.
He had two, and they were both like fire.
Yeah. Because he was like edgy, but also just like he was goofy at the same time.
Yeah.
It's weird how you can mix that type of stuff.
Yeah, and the freaking bit that he has about the Italian at the Rocky movie. Dude, it was so good.
We should watch that prior to watching Rocky later.
Yeah. And then do that. Dane Cook.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, but like I know that's a weird thing, especially back in the day. People were too cool for school for Dane Cook. Dane Cook was hilarious. He still is.
He was good.
He's hilarious. And that Harmful If Swallowed, dude, that's one of the ones where I laughed the most.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you listened to that one?
It's been a while. I watched, because again, like I had no idea who he was, so a lot of people at school were talking about him. I remember watching, I don't remember a lot of his stuff, that's the only problem, but I remember like, I thought he was creative and like, he was light, but it was also like, you know what I'm saying? Like how he was, yeah.
His style kind of changed. He was a little bit more erratic back in the day, but the freaking, every now and then I throw it on the Burger King bit when his brother worked at Burger King.
Oh, yeah.
And he's whispering in the drive-thru, or he's screaming in the drive-thru. He was so funny.
He was good. Actually, I remember he caught a lot of shit for allegedly like plagiarizing or something. Remember that? Like, it was like 2010 or 2012 or something. I forgot when, but it was like, he got kind of like flamed for it. And there's a Louis C.K. joke, so Louis invited him onto his show, Louis.
Yeah.
And they talked about it, and Dane was like, hey, like, I'm really sorry. And Louis is like, okay. Like,
yeah.
Cool, thanks. Like, and that was it. And it was just kind of like a let's move on kind of thing, which is really cool.
It's funny in that, because I think there's times where you hear something, and it resonates so much with you that eventually, as time goes by, you think that you came up with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think in that world where it's not really written in stone. You know, it's not like I guess a movie or a book or anything where it's easy to plagiarize because something just resonates with you so much that you start spitting it out.
Right.
And I think that's what happens. It's not like the Mencia thing, which that was like a big deal with.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he was up on stage years ago at the what the heck was it? Comedy Store maybe? Okay. Or the Laugh Factory. And Rogan basically called him out in the middle of a set for stealing people's jokes. And he had like receipts for, like, he had Ari Shaffir come up, and yeah, he kind of got roasted for it. But there's been a bunch of guys, even Robin Williams got accused of plagiarism.
Oh, yeah. I think it's just so common. You got to think like media, it's like, it's all mass media now in a sense, right? So you got to think like, there's maybe only so many chords you can play in pop music before you're kind of starting to repeat stuff. And I feel like I'm not discrediting the people, like, actually, let me rephrase that. There are people that go out there and like do it, and they're trying to be deceitful about it.
Right.
But I want to know what like the ratio would be of like actual like intent versus it was just an accident and it sounded cool, right?
Yeah. I think that it's probably more that.
Yeah.
You know, where it's just, you're just trying to be creative and it just hit. And you're like, oh, well, I guess I did.
Right.
I did kind of steal. It's not how far you go with it.
Yeah. It was. I was just having this conversation with the guy at work. We went to a like a dinner. It was like a work function, and we're talking about Instagram reels that we kind of come across. It was all like '90s nostalgia, like games or computer sound, stuff like that.
Yep.
And all the comments were like, "Oh man, it's like all these same people that I've never met. Thousands of people have had the same experiences that I have. Like, do we have any original thoughts anymore?" And it kind of hit them a little bit. And I was like, "Oh man, I've thought of that too." Right?
Yeah.
So I'm probably the same thing with like comedy or music.
Eventually, everything has kind of been done. It's like any video or book or anything. It's not going to be 100% unique because there's going to be experiences that other people have had, but also you're going to naturally draw from inspiration from something else.
Right.
It's just, that's kind of like there's a book called Steal Like an Artist.
Okay.
It's a very short book, but it's basically like lean into the influences and then just kind of take them. I mean, the video that you were in with Mike, you know, those are two characters that are in the horror genre. You know what I mean? Like that's not an original. It's an original piece with characters from other things that, you know what I mean? It's nothing is truly original anymore, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's tough to have something novel, but I guess a shout out to you for that art, you know, clip.
Yeah.
Dude, everyone that I sent that to thought it was awesome. They thought it was great, like, because then I told them some of the behind the scenes issues we were having.
Yeah,
and they were like, I would have never even known that the way you had done all that. Yeah.
I know. What I want to do, and even that day, it was like I was trying to get another person to film the behind the scenes.
That would have been cool.
I tried. I had 3 different people, and you know, schedule wise, I just couldn't make it work. But that's why I wanted that, because you wouldn't have known that, and that would have been its own video. But again, something like that. Maybe the idea was original, but it's also very heavily influenced by characters that are already existing in, like, Hollywood. You know what I mean?
Right. We're all kind of standing on the shoulders of giants in a sense, and we're all influencing each other. And I gotcha.
Right. But even now too, it's like with social media,
right? There's
a lot of like non-original, like shit that goes on. There's a lot of like trends and here's a song and then here's a dance that goes along with that song, and how many people do it to try to go viral off of something.
Okay. Yeah, to add to that, I remember my first, so I had Facebook for a very long time. I don't anymore, as you know. But back in like 2012, Vine was a big thing.
Yeah.
And I remember some of like the really popular Vine creators would come up with something, and then all of a sudden, like, all the like repeats are coming up on my feed. So like Marcus Johns, for example, he did like a Vine about washing a spoon and how it just sprays back at you.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, everyone's doing the same clip. And I'm like, why do I want to watch this again?
Right.
When he did it better and first, you know?
Right.
And everyone's tagging him, trying to like get their little like 5 seconds of like notoriety.
Yeah.
But I do think, actually going back to Vine though, like I think there was a lot of original content like on that. It's really sad they got rid of it, but I can sit there and watch like an hour's worth of just.
I do too. I watch compilations.
Oh God,
they're so good.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, especially the ones where like they're like impromptu or candid, like in the moment ones. Like no one was really planning to do like a skit, like Rudy Mancuso busting out, you know, something on his guitar or whatever, but like someone just like falls and got hurt, and it's like really choppy.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's so unorganized and badly filmed. I love that stuff.
Yeah, Vine was. I didn't really watch a ton of Vines when it was out, but like then eventually I kind of went back and started watching the compilations, and then I'm like, Vine is far superior than TikTok to me.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, because you only had 6 seconds to be as creative as you could be.
Right.
Actually, I made one that got, you know, couple thousand views.
Hey.
Didn't go anywhere after that, but it was I made a flip book of some Last Airbender like bending elements. It was like not a stick figure, it was a little bit more detailed than that.
Right.
And he was like doing the fire bending, moving water around, just all the elements, and it ended, and that one that's probably like my most watched one.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah. And
how long did that take? Besides 6 seconds to show, like how long did it take to make?
To draw it, it took a little while, because when you do a flip book, you have to like you draw and then you trace on top of it like the next slide. So the first slide is like in the back. Yeah. And then when you flip it, you know, like there's like that smooth motion.
Right.
But like I had the guy doing like a spinning back kick, like, and fire coming out the back of it, and like it was pretty. I gotta find it. And I'll show you. It's probably on my computer somewhere.
Yeah, because you got into. I mean, were you always into like if I say anime, is that the wrong terminology for that?
No. So actually, on my show notes, I was never into anime as a kid.
Okay.
So this is like, I would say the only one I watched at the time was The Last Airbender, but that's like American animation.
Okay.
And even then now, it's like a lot of you guys can't see it because I have shirts on, but it's I got like Last Airbender tattoos. I got Aang up here.
Yeah.
I got the koi fish on my back. Done at Powerline.
Shadow Powerline.
Yeah, Shadow Powerline. Yeah, so I would say like, you know, that show came out when I was 15, and like I'm 34 now, so it still hits. Like, that's a badass show. But other than that, I'd never watched it until my adult life, because my ex-wife was really into it, and then my roommate, when I was over in Bahrain, also loved it, and between both of them, while I was out there, I watched a lot. And
did they still make new episodes of it?
Of animes or
like the last? I always say Stylebender because of
Adesanya. Yeah. All right, so I guess like focusing. All right, Last Airbender.
Yep.
The original series came out like 2015. Oh wait, no, my bad, not 2015. 2005. Right, so
okay.
I was 15. But
yeah.
Then like years had gone by. It was only 3 seasons. And they came out with a spin-off of like the next Avatar that replaced him, and that was supposed to only be like 1 season, but it got a lot of attention.
Yeah.
So they, extended the contract, made 4 seasons.
Did they make a movie?
Yeah. So M. Night Shyamalan made a movie that nobody wants to talk about.
Really? Okay.
No, it was awful. It was really bad. Like
live action?
A live action movie. It was dog shit.
Wow.
It was like the creators left. It was bad.
Who wrote it? Was it?
I don't know too much about that.
Okay.
Yeah. If I've learned anything about preparing for this is that like one thing you're really good at is like you'll listen to a band, learn about all the different people in it, and like learn like their hit. Where like I just like listen to them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
a lot of behind the scenes stuff I'm not that great.
Yeah. I'm just curious because when you have a successful show, he directed it, but I wonder, like the ins and outs of. Like who wrote? Like why was it?
Man.
Why was it bad? And you're like, just the story bad?
Well, they rushed the entire first season in 1 movie, and normally, so the whole point of being a firebender is like you can do it anywhere because it's based off of your breath. So when you take an inhale in and you exhale, like that's the fire coming out of your hands or feet, whatever. But in the M. Night movie, you had to have it with you or else you couldn't use it. So if there was a torch with the flame, you could bend fire. But if you were just like right here, right now, we wouldn't be able to do it. Oh, and that was kind of like, so how would they be that powerful, taking over the world if they needed it? But, there's like a lot of like stupid stuff, and the acting was crap. But so no one wants to talk about that movie.
Okay.
Then
sorry I brought it up. Everybody.
No, dude. So Chris, Eddie, Ben, Mikey, like we all went. We were so stoked.
Yeah.
And we had never been so sad. Like we sat there just in the theater, like silent as people were leaving.
Yeah.
And then it was like a silent ride home. And we got back to Chris's house and then just bitched about it for an hour. Like we were so fucking mad. And then I'm trying to think. There was really not a lot of like, there's like comic books coming out about it.
Yeah, sure.
Right. And then now Netflix came out with their new live action, which got, pretty good reviews. I watched a few episodes. I stopped, not because I didn't like it. It was just life got in the way.
Yeah.
But it was good, especially, but you can't compare it to the cartoon because like you can't beat the cartoon. But now I think next year or the year after, they're going to come out with a new spin-off of the Avatar after Korra.
Okay.
So I think there's going to be like another cartoon, same creators, all that stuff is going to continue it.
And that you said is American. How do you classify that? It's American.
Yeah, it looks like anime, but it's made in America.
Is anime just from Japan?
I think so. Yeah, I don't want to like speak on like I don't know 100%, but generally, yeah, it's like Japanese style cartoons.
Now, is that also like where does Pokemon fit into that?
That would be anime. So there are different types of animes. I forgot what all the names were, but you have like shonens, which are kind of like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh. They're like light and fun for kids, and then there's like 5 or 6 other types that are based on like the style that it's of the story that it's portrayed in. So. But Avatar is like its own thing because it was here. And for anyone that hasn't seen it, like, it's a great show. Like artistically, it's not like lazy animation at all.
Yeah.
Everybody has a story arc that goes somewhere, and it's like the kids you're watching episode 1 are very different than when the season like the series ends. Completely different people. But then it still is able to touch on serious, like really, really serious things like colonialism, imperialism, like genocide, like all that stuff is implemented in that show. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't think when I was a kid, I really like understood a lot of it, but then now as an adult, I'm like, oh my God, this is some heavy.
We talked about this recently where you kind of started getting that feel on rewatching some stuff that you see it with the lens of an adult now.
It's kind of wild. I think kids, and like I don't want to speak for all kids, like it's just, at least for me, I kind of just took a lot of things as like face value. as a kid.
Sure.
And then as an adult, now it's like you have different perceptions, experiences. You can kind of like layer things a little bit more now.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Now, what about the Pokemon movies? Are those allowed to be talked about?
Yeah. Okay. So I think there's like 20 of them now.
Really? Like movies?
Dude, there are 9 generations, I think, of Pokemon just in general. I don't know anything past 2008. Like, I don't know. Like, I think Generation 3, if anyone played the games, like Silver, Gold, no, not Silver, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald are the last 3 I played.
Yeah.
That was in 8th grade. I don't know. Like, you could show me, hey, what generation is this? I'm like, is that even a Pokemon? Like, what the hell are these?
Yeah.
I have no idea. But the movies, Chris, Mikey, and I rewatched just to see.
What was that? Double the speed, would you say?
Yeah. Okay. So they're very slow. they're very slow paced movies. Obviously for kids. Yeah. So when you bump it up a little bit, like 1.2 speed, 1.5, way better. Yeah. It gets right to the point. I think the first one is probably like the weakest one. Like, have you seen it at all?
I don't know. It's completely out of my realm.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So the very first one, it starts with like they're in a lab, and these scientists are trying to clone like the most powerful Pokemon in the world.
Is that Charizard?
No, it's Mew, and they create Mewtwo, which is like he's like this, he's cloned,
Yeah.
Well, Mewtwo finds out about it, and he gets pissed off and like kills everybody in the lab, and then he makes friends with like an evil Pokemon trainer.
Yep.
And gets used by him to capture Pokemon and stuff.
Gotcha.
Mewtwo finds out he's being used and like blows the guy's house up and then leaves, right? So like his story arc in the beginning is pretty cool. But then the rest of the movie is just kind of like stale, doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And like so I was like, okay, I can do without this one. It started really good and it kind of tanked.
Yep.
But I would say the next 3, like 2, 3, and 4 are pretty badass.
Really?
Even as an adult. Yeah. It was just, but then again, like at like 1.2 speed, like, I can't stress that enough.
Right.
Yeah, I would say the third one was pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause he's not trying to save the world. It's not like this big grandiose, like plot.
Yeah.
It's literally just like this traumatized kid, this latchkey kid, wants somebody to like play with and like, get some sort of attention.
Right.
So these like little mysterious Pokemon are granting all of her wishes, but it's like destroying this town as it's happening.
Yep.
And she doesn't know that she's locked in like this dreamlike state. It's actually really cool how they did it. So
yeah, because it's tough to, that's I don't get into the superhero movies either. But
same, yeah.
It's tough to like. Maybe because I don't watch them and I'm not into it. But when I watch the trailers, like I go to the movies all the time and I see a trailer for a new DC or Marvel movie, to me, it's the exact same trailer every time. And it's like, it's an old song that they redid with some epicness to it, like an actual song.
Right.
They redo it to some, epic, dramatic thing. And it's the world is at stake. It's like, oh my god!
Yeah,
like
it's always the world. It's like, come on,
this can't be like fun for you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I kind of get bored with those. I did like it wasn't not Deadpool. I'm kind of getting into like the anti-hero. What was it? Black Adam with The Rock. And the reason why I like that is because he's kind of going against what like the average superhero story is. So it's like have you seen it?
No.
Okay, so. There's like this the Justice League type of thing.
I've heard of it. Yeah, sure.
And it's just like you have your stereotypical, superheroes that are enforcing the same status quo. You know what I'm saying? We'll say for sake of, political scientists out there, like liberal democracy,
Yep.
But then, all the movies that we've watched as a kid, it always shows like who they're helping, but it doesn't show like who they're not helping.
Yep.
Right. So in Black Adam, you have that marginalized group that they're just kind of like, all right, well, you guys are saving the world, but like, where's our representation? So then Black Adam comes out and he starts just killing people. Like, he's not playing by the rules.
Yep.
And it's really pissing off the like the Justice League or whoever it was, So like, that was kind of neat because it wasn't so much like Deadpool anti-hero. But it was like Black Adam versus the Justice League versus like the crime syndicate that's taken over. I think it was done in Egypt. I forgot, but it was like you had three parties, and at the center of it is these groups of people that just want some sort of protection. It was really cool. It got a lot of flack. I never checked what the ratings were. I didn't care because like I enjoyed it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't care what anybody else thinks. Yeah. Along that same line, though, have you heard of The Boys?
Yeah. Okay. So when I get tattooed, actually, it's coming up soon. I'm gonna continue watching that. Okay. Yeah,
because I've heard about that. My sister's boyfriend Alex tried to get me into it. He knows I'm not into superhero stuff, but he's like, plot wise, I think you would like it, and it's still too much for me. Right. But based on what you're saying about Black Adam, I feel like that maybe you would enjoy.
Yes,
The Boys, kind of.
Yeah, I'd like The Boys. Hold on 1 sec. Okay. Yeah. So far, I've liked it. I'm not done with season 1 yet.
Yeah.
I left off at I have 1 episode left, and I haven't gotten tattooed since like June. But I'm gonna tell him because like Jay likes it. So I'm like, hey, like I need to watch something when I'm getting tattooed. I have like a 4 or 5 hour window of like I'm just gonna focus on one thing. And then he can just kind of get to it.
Yep.
So I think that's kind of the show I'm gonna watch.
Nice.
Yeah, when I'm getting finished with the sleeve. So.
My go-to when I get tattooed, ever since the very first one, is I watch stand-up comedy.
Really?
There's times where if I know I'm getting tattooed soon and a new special just dropped, I won't watch it because I know I'm going to watch it because it's the same thing. It's like that 4-hour window.
Yeah.
And I try not to I'll converse, when we first get there and bullshit. And then same thing. I like to just let you do your thing. And actually the first tattoo is on my back.
Okay.
And I watched Louis C.K.
Oh, God.
And I laughed so much that I kept jerking. And Mike was like, we may want to put something else on.
I was going to say, I was like, that's bold, dude. Because I can't imagine. Yeah, because my first appointment with Jay, he put on, I forgot who it was. It was a comedian. It was one I never heard of.
Yep.
And he was funny. And I was like, I don't think this is a good idea. He goes, what do you want to watch? I'm like, let's do something that's like more serious so I can focus on it. So he put The Boys on because I told him about that story I want to write, and it's very superhero oriented in a way. So he put that on. He's like, "Oh, you got to watch this then." And so I was like, "All right, I'm just gonna watch that." I've even watched it since then. So
all right, you just wait until you get
tattooed.
Tattooed again. I'm itching for another one.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I got to finish up like everything. I only have 2 on this arm. I got to finish the sleeve, and I want to add like a hand tattoo over here. So
if money was no object, I would be covered.
Really?
I think so. At least like limbs.
Yeah. I feel like if pain wasn't an object, I'd be covered.
That too. Yeah. There's certain places I probably won't. Like I have no interest in getting like front torso, side, but back, sure. Legs, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like, dude, it's just so expensive.
Dude, it is. I know. It's crazy. I'm trying to think like I have 5 on my left arm, and that was probably like $2,300 now. If you think about it, like.
Yeah, I'd have to. I know they upped their prices, so it used to be like $150. Then it was $175. Now it's like $200. Yeah. So it would be tough. But yeah, if you think about it, there's like a few $1,000s.
Yeah, I guess one more since we call that power line. My left arm is done by Art Freak over in Providence, so it's all like nautical style.
But you also got one in Newport, right? Your leg.
Yes. So my thigh I got done at Anchor Steam. It's like right on Broadway. That one was solid. She did that in 4 or 5 hours. She like outlined half of it, colored half of it, then I adjusted, and then she did. But I swear to God, like, if anyone has gotten tattooed on the thigh, you can put in the comments or something. Like, I think that was worse. That was the worst. I got my back done. I got my arms done, my hand, but I think the thigh was miserable. Yeah. And she said I did a really good job. Like I put on a poker face.
Right.
But oh my God, I was especially like most of it is like around my IT band and it comes up to the center of my thigh.
Right.
But like the closer you get to the inner thigh, you feel it in like your hips.
Yeah.
And, like, dude, like it feels like that they're going to tattoo your balls. Like it's crazy. Like,
it's funny the nerve endings of, like where they're tattooing and you feel it somewhere else completely.
Dude, it's like your entire just jock area like hurts.
Right.
It's the wildest thing. I don't. And then I asked my buddy, he has his thigh done.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, it was miserable for that same reason." I was like, "Okay, like nice."
I know Damani has it's like 2 above the knee, and I remember asking him like, "How was it?" Because like I like that, right above the knee kind of thing on the thigh, and he's like, "Dude, it was awful."
Really?
Yeah, I don't think his is like super detailed. I don't forget what it was, but he's like, it was awful. Like, okay, well, I'll put that for last then.
Yeah, dude. Fucking. So Alex and I, there's another couple that we hang out with, and she got her foot done, and she was like, the second she started, I just wanted it to end, and the artist was like, "We're only like, you have like another couple hours left. Like, I'm not gonna leave you with like a quarter of a tattoo on your foot," and like, yeah, she was like, "Don't ever do that." But I mean, like, that all hurts. But yeah, some spots are.
Yeah, some spots are worse than other, but that's another reason why I don't look.
Oh really?
I don't watch it.
Oh, okay.
Just because I don't want to get disappointed on how far or how not far they are.
Oh, okay.
So like, because if your threshold's kind of hitting, you're like, oh god, this sucks. I don't want to look and be like, well, it's like barely done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I try not to look.
It's kind of interesting how they do it. So like, I think Jay is very methodical. He moves a little bit slower than like some of the other artists, but like, everyone I've went to has incredible work. Jen was like, put the AirPods in, doesn't bullshit at all, just gets right to it.
Right.
Mike, we have like great conversations. He does the outline, we're done. Going again, color, we're done. You know what I'm saying? And then Jay and I, we talk the whole time. We're watching The Boys, and then like, because he knows I'm like 4 or 5 hours, like I'll be out of here. So I just let him do whatever he has to do in his 4 hours. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's like I'm looking forward to it. I got some more time here, so I know. Finish this up.
Maybe after the holidays, it's like Christmas is coming up and whatnot. There goes that money.
Yeah. Oh man, Christmas coming up. I guess as far as media goes, though, Christmas, I don't dislike it, but there's not a lot of Christmas media other than.
I have a question at the very end.
Okay.
To ask you about Christmas.
Really?
Specifically.
Okay. Yeah. I would say media-wise, though, Home Alone. I saw that in 1995.
Hot debate.
And I watch it again almost every year. It's funny. I love Joe Pesci in it. I love when his hair catches on fire and like, Marv gets shot in the nuts. Like, it's just like, everything is so funny. Like, I don't know.
I've had debates on whether that's an actual Christmas movie or not.
Yeah.
And so far it's really me and Greg are on an island saying that it's not a Christmas movie.
No, I would agree that it's not. I mean, like,
you do? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I love it, but it's not, the focal point isn't it like it's like a background, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's different layers to movies.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's like Christmas adjacent. Like you can watch it during Christmas time because it has like the soundtrack and whatnot, which I appreciate, but it's also not really about Christmas.
A Christmas movie is like Rudolph.
Right. Exactly.
Like actually Christmas,
It's actually Christmas, and it's about Christmas, like 4 Christmases, which is like my low key, like one of my favorites.
Really interesting. Tell me about that.
Have you not seen it?
No.
Oh, dude, we gotta watch it.
Okay.
It's so good. It's Vince Vaughn.
Really?
And Reese Witherspoon, and his performance it gets funnier every time I watch it because he's so dry with the shit that he says.
I like Vince Vaughn.
He's good. Yeah, he's so good in that one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think now. Hold on. Oh, show notes. Yeah. Okay.
He's just scrolling through. Yeah. Dun.
Okay, so one thing that I think. Yeah, alrighty. So books. I think for me, that's going to be. I'm trying to think. Books or true crime first. Because those are more until I know. Okay, so I'll start with books. So before the pandemic, you wouldn't have caught me dead reading anything.
Like period.
Like maybe like an article if someone forced me.
Yeah, like an online article or something.
But that's about it. It was mostly like podcast movies. Like,
sure.
Yeah. The pandemic, a buddy of mine was like, because I had no idea what was going on. I was like, everyone was scared. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah.
And I was just like, what is happening? I just want, like, whatever. And my friend, who is a political science major, said, here's a couple recommendations. You're going to read Guns, Germs, and Steel by Jared Diamond, and you're going to read People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn. And I was like, okay, cool. And I read them both, and then I was like, well, I don't want to say I know everything, so I'm going to read another book. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's just, it hasn't stopped.
Yeah.
even to this day. So I'd say the last 5 years, I've really put a lot on the back burner just to
read.
Yeah, or even listen. You know, like I count my textbooks in school as that. Reading on my own time, and then like
audiobooks and
audiobooks going to work. So it's a 45-minute to drive to base.
It's a nice time to like knock one out. That's when I have a long drive. It's usually podcasts.
Yeah, podcasts are a good one. I used to listen to JRE in like my early career. Like I'd say like when I first joined the Coast Guard, I listened to him.
Yeah.
And then like post-pandemic, I've kind of just dropped media personalities altogether.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when you're starting to get like that second, third, fourth, fifth source, you know, you kind of gets diluted. And like I know he has like direct like scholars on. Yeah. But I'd rather read their work like on my own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fair. I think with his, it depends on, because he has so many of them. He's like 3 a week forever.
That's so crazy.
It depends on who the guest is sometimes that I'll listen to. But when he went to Spotify, I stopped listening. Now he's back on YouTube under the new Spotify deal.
Word. Yeah, I didn't know
so
that.
it's like, it depends on who he has on. Sometimes I like to just follow different guests. Yeah. Depending on like whatever podcast. So like Sebastian will be on some random podcast and I'll listen to it because it was him.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think I liked his fight stuff. Like his fight commentaries are usually like fun to watch. But I think as far as like scholars and stuff, I'd rather just listen to like the one scholar, read their book, or if they had like if they were getting interviewed and talking about like a specific policy, then I'm like, okay, 'cause I'm trying to get as close to like the primary source that I can before I start making decisions.
Yeah, that's fair. I like the light ones with him. Like I like when he has different fighters on.
Yeah, the fighters are good.
Like I just listened to one that Izzy was on not too long ago. I listened to that one.
Yeah, dude, I'm stoked to see. Hey, did you know that that John Jones fighting soon?
God, it's like that's my sister's like favorite fighter forever.
Really?
Like pre him being champion. Yeah, she
because they have the same name.
Probably. It's probably why. So we started calling her John, and then now because of like John Jones, like, sometimes we just call her Bones. Okay. So it's like this is like this weird thing, but
hell yeah,
you and I can't wait for Stipe to win.
I know. Yeah, listen, like I'm not going to discredit Jones. I think he's very talented. It's just I'm ready for that. Hang it up.
That's just like I don't know. It's like I don't know him personally.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That's hard.
I can't. It's just you're going off of what you do know. And I just said to my sister recently, I go, he's so not likable.
At least in the media. Okay,
and in the media,
yeah.
And I hate saying that because I don't know him. He's probably if you met him on the street, he'd probably be fine. Yeah, it's just like I don't know. There's so much. I was definitely in the rivalry. I was a DC guy.
I was too. I like DC. Plus, like living in Louisiana, like a lot of Dustin Poirier would come visit like the gym every now and then. He was cool. Right. Him and DC are friends, so it's just kind of like. You don't know these people personally, but like you run into them in the community and you're just like, man, they're really cool. And you don't want to like root against them. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, but I would say there have been a couple of clips of like John and DC talking like outside the cage or like just like little speeches that he might get. And like, I do think John is good in that sense, like at least those clips where like it's not media. They're not going over all the bullshit. Right. Like, I do like those, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I do like Stipe though. Like I really think a buddy of mine trained with him over at his gym for a little bit. Came back and he's like, dude, that guy's awesome. He's one of the coolest dudes to like kick it with. I'm like, okay, and he's talented. He's a really good wrestler. He's a great boxer. Like
I remember watching him coming up, and he went on this run. I think he was like 10-0 or so. I remember when he was the new. Now it's like they're at the end of their career, and it goes so fast, especially in MMA. It really does. Yeah, like I remember him being like the young gun, going to Hooters and watching that guy fight.
Yeah, he was good. So I didn't know too much about him, and when he was on the up and up, because it's kind of tough to watch some of the prelims all the time. Like I really just watch the big UFC events. I don't watch like the fight nights in between. Yeah. So I didn't watch his rise to the championship. At the time, I think he beat Verdum, right? That was who he beat.
Yeah, that's when he was going backwards and he knocked him out.
Yeah. So at the gym, my buddy was rooting for Stipe, and I was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll root for Verdum because I'll stick with the champ,
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, I was going to bet him a beer. He said, no, I don't drink. Let's bet cupcakes. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
dude, I didn't pay him. It was like 5 years until I fucking, and then he had moved. So he was in town for like maybe like a year or two, busting my balls, getting other people to bust my balls publicly about it. And I was like, I kept forgetting, you know, cause like working at the station.
Right.
I was busy. I'm making excuses. It was totally my fault. But it was also like a funny gimmick. Like I liked the fact that it went on for so long. Like secretly,
it's like, you know, beating the dead horse.
Yeah. It all comes back around, everybody. But yeah, so he ended up moving to Colorado, and I mailed him a bunch of like mini cupcakes. And he was kind of pissed because they were so small. So he like combined a bunch of them, and then like he put like the little cupcake on top of a real cupcake that he bought, and he's like, nice little toppers, and like just totally flamed me like for getting him tiny ass cupcakes 5 years later. So I'll tell him that I gave him a shout out.
For sure. So I mean, you got back into MMA and you do jiu-jitsu. Who's your favorite fighter if you had to pick?
Oh God.
Not well. All right. Current and then all time in case they're different.
Okay. I would say all time. Crap. This is really hard.
I know.
Yeah, this is one of the such a hard question. Okay, so I would say Mighty Mouse.
All time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like I think he's, unless you're in the MMA community, you've probably never heard of him, and he's done so much for the sport. I think as far as like setting records and like I wouldn't have even really kind of wanted to blend my game the way I have unless it wasn't watching his stuff. And like, you know, it was like he was cool. He wasn't like an ass or anything. He just played video games and shot the shit.
Right.
He was like, so him. But I've just liked so many fighters like throughout time, like for different reasons, you know, especially now because a lot of my friends are up in the UFC too. So it's like, it was just, you know, and they're doing well. Yeah. So I mean, like, it's just like as a sport, I just like all of it.
Yeah.
You know, so. Are
you going to watch, now this is coming out after the fact, so.
Okay.
Are you going to watch Jake Paul and Mike Tyson?
No.
You won't even.
No, I won't even.
Won't even entertain it.
Yeah,
it's on Netflix, so it's
really.
You don't have to pay for it.
Yeah,
you pay for it because you have a subscription.
I do have Netflix, but there's no way. I haven't watched any of them. I don't know. There's just so much. I can't. Oh my God.
And it's so funny because at the time this will be out well after the fact. So I mean, it could be completely wrong. It's just I don't. If Tyson cracks him, but he's also 59, 58.
I know.
And Jake is 28. So it's like
like the strength. I don't know. That's the thing. Like I'm not really, as far as anatomy goes, I have no idea.
I know.
You know, is it experience or because the age is a big deal?
It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the main factor. That's why people aren't interested. I mean, they are interested because they want to see Tyson crack him.
Yeah.
Knock him out. But I don't know.
Yeah.
He takes these fights for a reason. The guys that he has fought, he fought for a reason because he can, like Mike Perry, he fought Mike Perry in July because Tyson got sick, so they had to postpone.
Yeah.
He sparred with Mike Perry a few years ago, so he already knew. And Mike Perry's a 170er.
Dude, all right. So Mike Perry has one of my favorite MMA. I know we've talked about this, but it was when he was doing cage work. I forgot what fight it was, but he was up against, like he was pushing the guy up against the cage, and the crowd was booing. Like immediately they started booing because they hate and don't understand grappling for some reason.
Yeah.
And he's like fishing for the underhook to just get his glove through and pop it up just to flip off the audience. And when they zoom out a bit, you just see him flipping the audience, like in the highest underhook he could, which actually did help him out too, because like you want to get the underhook when you're up against the cage.
Sure.
But yeah, he just didn't give a fuck. It was so good. Like,
well, it's funny because we watched a couple fights at the movie theater, and there's some people that, what was it? No, we watched Noche, but then we watched one after that.
Oh yeah, it was crap. Who was it? It was
Pereira and Khalil.
That was right. Okay,
but there's always people. Maybe it was the Noche one that we watched. There's always people. This is why it's tough to go in public, and like I like to watch in the bubble that we watch it in.
Yeah,
because there's people that just stand him up. It's like
it's even worse in real life. Like when you go to those in real life, it's like you're surrounded by like morons. It's just the worst.
It's awful.
Oh, it's so bad. Yeah.
It's awful because I've gone to the local ones. Me and Mike went to a UFC when it was Chael and Shogun.
Okay.
It was Connor and Max were on the undercard. That's how long ago this was. It's like the one Connor fight that they never talk about because it wasn't like he didn't do anything glamorous. He actually, I think he tore his knee in that fight. He won by decision, but it wasn't anything glamorous.
He still had like really good counters though. You know, like excuse me. So like Max was finding himself too.
Yeah, because he was still young.
He was young, yeah. And then like, you know, I probably watched that one the most when he was coming on the scene on Fight Pass. Cause like, like I really liked how he was gauging his distance and like, you know, picking the shot. Like cause it was also one of the longer fights at the time too.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, for him
to go 3 rounds, it was just kind of like, okay, I can watch this and kind of try to study him a little bit. So.
That show on ESPN, I don't know if they put out new ones, The Detail.
Oh, that's good. That's
so good. Yeah. If you haven't watched, I know they do other sports too, but there's no music, there's no score. It's literally just breaking it down, and it's Daniel Cormier breaking down different fighters and different fights that they were in. It's so good.
He does a really good job with that. But I do want to just take a sec to give, you know, a shout out to like old training partners. Like we might not talk all the time, but they're very talented on the scene, and I just don't think I'd be doing them justice if I didn't say anything. Sure. Macy Chason. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have even started training MMA. Like she had done her first amateur fight, and I was like, "Hey, I want to try that. How do you do it?" And she goes, "Oh, well, come to my gym," and I haven't looked back since. So that was 2015. That same gym at Mid City was Tom Lee, won championship. Carlos Vera has some UFC fights, and then Brandon Allen. I didn't spend a lot of time with him, but like he was a beast. Like he still is. Like he's nasty. He I think he's like an IMMAF, like amateur like world champion. Like that the whole team is stellar. Yeah, and I wouldn't have continued like any of this as it wasn't for them. You know what I'm saying? So,
sure.
Yeah, I had to throw that out there.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny because you know we've had conversations too about maybe how you perceived yourself as a kid. You know, like we were talking about Rugrats, bringing it all the way back. Like you identified with Chucky, and I think I'm pretty sure everybody kind of felt some level of like timidness or self-confidence issue kind of thing. I mean, you went from maybe being more timid back in the day, to getting into, you know, training mixed martial arts and having fights, and now you still do jujitsu. It's like that's a big change.
That's a story. Yeah, go to actually again more shout outs.
More shout outs.
Yeah, Triforce MMA, Pawtucket. They're great. I took a 2-year hiatus because of like we'll say, you know, like depression. It was kind of tough. It was hard at the time to continue. So I took 22 and 23 off completely, and then went back February of this year, and then that gym has been crazy. Like they've been so supportive and like cool. Yeah. And I feel like they're really good at like finding what you're good at and implementing that into your game. So they have a very talented group there. You can do anything. You know, they have doctors on scene, saunas. You can train whatever you want. So I really enjoy training there. But going back as far as you said, as a kid, I wanted to like blend. I didn't feel like I didn't like looking back at it, and I didn't know what to do, you know? So like I resonated with Chucky. Yeah. I stuck to my Christian rock music, you know, which isn't bad. Yeah. But no, it's like when people kind of resonate and they go back and they go, oh, reminisce, and then they're like, oh yeah, if I could be a kid again, I miss it. I'm like, I don't. Like,
I know you always say that.
I know. I love being an adult.
I appreciate that you say that because a lot of time we romanticize the past. Yeah. And like, well, if I had the knowledge today to go backwards.
And I'm like, okay, well, you have the knowledge today to go forward.
Right.
You know, right. Yeah. Like, let's do that. Like,
right. Make better decisions now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. This year. Or this year coming up. Because there's one movie that we have to see, which is going to tie this whole thing together.
Okay.
We have to go see Mufasa.
Yes.
Which is coming out in December. This will be out after that.
Okay.
What are there any other movies or things that you're looking forward to coming out? Music, TV,
out.
movies,
man.
Concerts?
No, so I have
No.
That's the thing. Like I'm just kind of going with it right now.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I think Mufasa. I'm excited to see that. You know, because I think we're going on 32 years soon. So like it's gonna have that'd be a good way to.
It's the perfect movie because it really it's been what 94, so it's been 30 years since the movie originally came out, the first one anyway.
That's wild.
Did you watch the live action one that came out a few years back?
Oh yeah, that's solid.
It was okay.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it.
It was good.
It's one of those things where you don't want to compare it to the original. You want to see it for what it is, its own thing, but it's not its own thing because it's a remake. You know what I'm saying? So like, I get how weird it can be, but I liked it for what it was.
Of the live action ones that Disney has done, I really liked The Jungle Book. Probably the most.
Oh yeah, that was good. I forgot they did that.
That was a really good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Beauty and the Beast was good too, though.
Yeah, if I had to pick like that whole little like time when they did that, Beauty and the Beast was the best one.
Yeah. All right. So I have 5 questions to wrap this up.
Oh, cool.
This is gonna be my new 5 questions that everyone's gonna get asked.
Okay.
I just don't know them offhand, so I have to read them.
Yeah.
This one might be tough because you're not super into music, so we can switch it to movies.
Okay.
The first question is, what album had the biggest impact on you? So we could switch that to movies. What movie had the biggest impact on you?
Biggest. Okay.
Positive, negative, whatever.
Yeah. All right. Biggest movie. I mean, if it's a long pause, you can.
You think about it. Think about it. I mean, I maybe could have prepped you on it, but I just kind of put these together. So.
No, that's good because like I think the one I think about the most. And it's probably because it's just the first thing that pops in my head, and I'm asked it. It's like my one on deck. But I really enjoyed Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. I didn't really care for like the other Batman movies he did.
Sure.
Especially because I'm not a superhero guy.
Right.
But the way Heath Ledger played Joker, it's like I know like there's always debate on like if he is supposed to be like this goofball, whatever. It was just different, and he really got into it.
Yeah.
And there was just something about, like, there was a lot of layers to the way he was just destroying the town.
Sure. Sure.
And to me, that just stands out. Like, he was literally just out to do it. He didn't, like, the Joker didn't give a shit, And to me, like, that was a great representation of it.
Yeah.
And it gave, Batman a run for his money in a sense. So, like, I really enjoyed that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. This is a music one that you got to think of something. Okay. I can change the first question. I can't change this one.
Okay.
Do you have a go-to song when you're feeling either depressed or defeated?
I just have like a go-to song, like just in general.
Okay.
But specifically down or defeated?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you just depressed, down, defeated, is there like a song that resonates with you in the moment?
Right. I think "Save Your Tears" by The Weeknd.
Okay.
It's probably one of my favorite songs, like
in general.
Yeah, just in general. Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Oh, okay. Actually, there is a fun fact about music I did forget. Yeah. Okay.
Keep it going.
Right. As a kid, I was afraid to embrace pop. As an adult, I don't give a shit. It's fucking awesome. It's so great. Pop is great. But the past couple of years, I've been the top 2% listener for Miley and Halsey.
Listen, I will die on the hill of Miley Cyrus, and we've talked about her covers. Miley is so good.
Yeah. Paper Hearts album was kick-ass.
It's just so good.
Yeah, I needed that when it came out, and that was great. No one else appreciated it. I remember I was in Bahrain, and no one wanted to take control of the music, and I hate taking I'll give it to anybody.
Yeah,
but no one wanted to, and I was like, if you guys don't step up, we're putting Paper Hearts on.
Yeah.
And then they were like, what? And I played it.
Yeah.
And then me and my friend were the only two jamming out to it in this little van for like an hour. And everyone else just like being
she's
stupid
so
about
good.
it. Yeah, it was a great album.
And you just said Halsey too. That is it Without Me?
Yeah. Great.
So great song. And there's a cover by a band called Fame on Fire.
Okay.
Phenomenal cover too.
Okay.
It's like a good 1-2. Like the original is so good, and the cover, it's hard rock, but it's really good.
Let's listen to that after this.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to forget.
Absolutely.
So, all right, next question.
If you could be part of any movie ever, what would it be? If you could be, in it, part of it, directing it, filming it.
Okay.
Any movie in history, what movie?
Any movie in history.
What movie would you be a part of?
Holy smokes. I'm trying to think.
It could be like predating you too. It could be before you were born.
No, that's a good... I don't think anyone's ever asked me that. So that's kind of like to be a part of a movie. Movie or TV shows, not matter. Or,
you take your pick.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think... Oh, dude.
It could be part of it in any fashion, whether it's on screen or off screen.
Oh, wow, okay.
Just part of a movie or a franchise.
Let me see what I wrote down here, because...
I know, I catching people off guard with these questions.
That's solid. Because I organized everything to see... Yeah, we had movies. Okay. Yeah, I think... All right. I think Hot Tub Time Machine.
Really? Oh, really? Okay. Is it just because it's just like on screen? Would you like to be in it?
I would have loved to have been in that.
Yeah.
Like just to kind of hang out with everyone. It's so light and stupid, and I like that group of actors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, okay, I would have loved if that was like real. Like, let's just say like that'd be a fun adventure to go on.
Sure.
Yeah, the first one, not the second one, but like that'd be fun.
The first one is so good. Anytime it's on, it's just like there's certain movies when they come on, you're just like, oh, I could watch this, no problem.
Dude, it's so
I've seen it so many times.
Funny. I love it. Yeah.
What's his face? Oh my God, I forget the actor's name. The one that plays the father. He finds out that that's his kid.
Oh yeah.
He's so funny in that when they go. They don't realize that they went back in time and they go ski and they all fall. And he's like, I feel great right now. And he just screams, I want to fuck somebody. Bro, it's so good.
I like the realization where he's just kind of like, Hot Tub Time Machine.
Great White Buffalo.
Yeah, Great White Buffalo.
What do you guys think? Great White Buffalo. Oh, that was really helpful.
So good.
Favorite Christmas movie? I told you there was going to be a Christmas question.
I forgot. Yeah. Okay. So Christmas, not
Christmas
Home
adjacent.
Alone. Yeah, Christmas adjacent. Christmas movie. I'm trying to think. There's not a lot that pop in my head. Oh my God.
Let's see, Frosty.
Oh, like those.
Rudolph. No, anything. It could be anything. It could be Christmas adjacent.
No,
it's fine.
No. I want to do this right. I want to do this the right way.
Christmas Vacation, Christmas Story.
Oh, okay. Christmas Story is kind of dark. That one's tough.
Christmas Story?
It's good, but like it kind of gives me like, it's like a little dark and sometimes. No?
Is it?
Am I the only one? What was the question again? What are we talking about?
If you had to pick one Christmas movie.
Favorite one?
Favorite.
Oh God. I don't know why I forgot what the Polar Express was about, other than the obvious. So I think I'll just say that.
Okay.
I'll watch it and see if that was a good answer or not.
Okay. If it's on my poll, it definitely wasn't, but that's okay.
Interesting. No, it was just like I heard Christmas and I was like Polar Express, and I was like,
or Elf. People like Elf too.
Okay. I recant my
my
previous statement.
Sure. You over there.
Yeah.
I give you a microphone, but you already have.
Elf.
Elf. Yeah. Okay, Elf is your favorite. All right.
Yeah. You don't want to like reach across and.
I know. Yeah, I don't want to get in your shot or anything. Last question: who would play you in a movie? Who would you want to play you in a movie?
Whoa. Okay.
And then why?
Okay. Who's the guy that plays Phil Dunphy in Modern Family? I forgot his name.
I haven't seen the program.
You haven't seen Modern Family?
No.
It's really funny. It's like it's a mockumentary style.
Right.
But one, I've been told by even strangers that we kind of look alike. We have similar mannerisms. And he's a goofball in that fucking show. And a lot of people it's in passing conversation, they're like, dude, you're Phil.
Oh,
you know?
Ty Ty Burrell.
Ty Burrell, yes.
Okay.
I'd want him to.
That's a
Yeah.
picture that shows up.
Yeah,
too.
dude, look, it's you with the mustache. You got to put that on the.
Yeah, I know. That's so good. All
yeah,
right.
you should use that if you're not going to get in trouble.
Maybe copyrights. We'll get demonetized, and we're not even monetized yet.
Yeah, there's a picture of him with the mustache. I think that's his alter ego.
That's a good one, though.
It's
I wouldn't
like,
have
his name's like
expected that.
Clive. Yeah, so when him and his wife are getting frisky, like he turns into Clive. And like he gets an accent and like does like crazy. It's like a little role playing thing. It's really stupid, but it's fun. Yeah,
I like it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that was the episode. Yeah, right around the same as everybody else.
Dang.
It just naturally
whoa.
flows to about that minute, hour and 10. Rather.
I didn't even know there was a timer there. That was.
It's not a timer. It's,
it's
well,
like-
oh yeah, it just shows how long we were recording for.
Cool.
So anyway, like, comment, share, subscribe.
Thanks
do
for
the whole
having
thing.
me. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that was fun.
We'll do a part 2 after we watch Mufasa.
Okay. Yeah. We'll give you guys a rate and review.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye.